evening, everybody. Welcome to Not Another Rangers podcast. There's 4 of us here tonight. It's a big box screen here with 4 of us. So we'll be welcoming back Cameron. We've got Ricky and we have Scott. So it's been a good couple of days. It's been a good week for Rangers. 13 goals in the last two games, and we head into the next month, which will define our season with games against Hearts, Celtic twice, Motherwell on Wednesday night, and Livingston. But this time, 4 weeks from today, we'll either know whether we're top of the league into the semi-final of the Scottish Cup, or whether it's all been a bit of a charade for a wee spell. You know, we got our hopes and dreams up again, as we often have done in the last few years. So it's, as Alexander says, it's good to see Cameron back. More importantly, so how are you, Cam?
I'm all right, mate. I only came to bang me drum about Danny Rowe, and then I disappeared. So I'll keep banging it.
I think it's clear that you went away for a couple of months just to see how he did. After raving about him so much when you came, you thought, I better leave it for a couple of months, and if he succeeds, I'll come right back on. If he's struggling, I'll just stay out of the way for a little bit longer.
You did never see me again, mate, if you were struggling.
And he has certainly got us into a good position. So good to have you back, Cameron. Ricky, how are you?
Great, mate. Very good. Great to see Cam back and Rangers banging in the goals. New players. We've got the new Arthur Newman, the new Duncan Ferguson, the new Torre in the middle of the park, mate. So life is good as a Rangers fan.
And I hope somebody does clip that up already straight away and put it on. It's a little bit early for some of that stuff, but anyway. And Scott, again, I seen you 24 hours ago, but you've been working all day today, so that's you just in and ready to talk Rangers.
It's me just in, Gary. So going to this, get then have my dinner, then back to bed for the morning again. Brutal. I hate Mondays. Why do you have to work on a Monday? I hate them.
People get a lot of time. That's what happens when you work for HS. They get all 7 days a week. They don't stop just a Monday just for you, I'm afraid.
You could give me a job of your Gary. It'd be less than I wouldn't have to do 12-hour shifts.
Hard work, trust me.
He's making it like it's hard work.
Anyway, it's good to be back. It's been a good weekend. It's one of the strange ones, actually. We will talk about the game. We're not going to probably dissect all 8 goals because we'd be 9:30 before we knew it. I think what we'll probably kind of cover is some of the main elements of the game, whereby who played well, who's come out of form, where we're at in terms of the team lineup, where we have options for a change now, and look ahead to the Motherwell game. So it's a strange one, Rick. I'll come to you first. It's a strange one yesterday. When you win 8-0 against a lower division side, there's an argument that, you know, people talk about how the team you're playing against not being very good. When you win 2-0, you know, it's just kind of expected. When you win 4-0, so there's always somewhere in between. But irrespective, I think it's our biggest win maybe in about 5-6 years anyway, and 8-0 wins don't come along very often. So you missed the game yesterday. You watched it, I think, today. Your thoughts?
No, but I mean, we said on the pod on Friday we would be interesting if we went 4-4-2 and just chuck the new boys in would be superb, because it was a great game to see them and see how they all played. And I thought everything clicked. I thought the front 4 were absolutely brilliant, Gary, and that's what we've been missing, is a bit of dynamism in that. And when the Deary up front, he was very, very impressive. Put himself about. I mean, listen, all these games are always going to go, it's only Queen's Park. It was 8-0. I'm not looking at Queen's Park 8-0. I'm looking at the last couple of games, the performances from Romans, the performance from the big striker Nadiri. The midfielder Chuck Wani looks super impressive, wins the ball back really well. Ant-Man is like a new signing because he's starting to perform for Rowe, and you can tell he feels more confident in the team. So forget about, okay, it's only Ross County or that. I'm looking at the performance. And what I love about Danny Rowe as a manager, I know Cam's purring about him and he's excited. He's got a big smile on his face. After the Hibs game, there was a little bit of an overreaction. And any time in the past with Rowe, when things don't go well for the team, he's so calm, and he's like, and every time he's sorted that out the next matches. When we dropped points before to Dundee United, then suddenly, bang, we were banging in goals, go on an 8-9 winning run game. And hopefully this is the catalyst. We've got some huge games coming up, and hopefully he's got this team purring. He's got new players. The squad's looking absolutely fantastic. So all positives, Gary, and it just keeps getting better and better as a Rangers fan. And we deserve it because it's been a while, mate. So super happy.
Scott, I think when he was talking about the big overreaction, the Hibs game is probably meaning you more than anything else a couple of weeks ago when you were throwing your toys right out the pram at that point in time. But yesterday, as I said, an 8-0 win is one of those things. It doesn't really get a lot of credit because you're playing a championship side, but there's a reason that we don't win 8-0 in every single championship game against these teams anyway, and why St Mirren struggled, Falkirk struggled, Celtic has struggled, I think, against in the last round as well. So it was an impressive performance all round.
It was, Gary. I think the players have to get themselves up for it. The players can look at the opposition and think, we'll probably win today, so we can maybe play kind of 50%. We should still beat this side like we done last season. We never beat them because they beat us. So I think it's easy to look at that game and think it's a formality, but they had themselves right up for it for kick-off, and I think you've seen that. And you're talking about the Hibs game there. I think Danny Rule was just as unhappy as me, by the way, because since then, we've been more on the front foot. Because he must have realised himself against Hibs that we didn't let us go. We should still been playing there. But he switched it about. The emphasis is more on going forward. And I know people are looking at it and saying it's only Kilmarnock and Queen's Park we've played against. And we've scored a lot of goals. But you can only beat what's in front of you. And we've done superbly the last 2 games. And if you can keep up that, the energy and the enthusiasm and the way we're playing then will be good. But like I've always says, Gary, 1 game at a time.
That is it. And we will, Cameron, you've been away for a little while. And when you, just before you were off, Danny Role was to be the next Messiah. You've missed the last couple of months. You've watched him, I don't know, was it 10 games, something like that, 9 wins and a draw, something like that, the last so many games, I can never remember exactly. But he has turned it round. We're now 3 points behind going into the game against Motherwell. What have you made of it?
I'm delighted, mate. I thought we should have had him in the summer, to be fair. But you just see that kind of pragmatism, it works in Scottish football. The philosophy that we've had previously, that Celtic have had with Nancy as well, it just doesn't work. The whole play the same way regardless of your opponent. I like the type of coach that Roll is. Like you said, after the Hibs game, we were a bit toothless in attack. He immediately makes changes and he doesn't wait around. He doesn't try things again. He just switches things up, and that's the best. I think that's the best thing a coach can do, to be honest. And there's a lot of optimism around the club. You can feel it compared to what we had when Martin was still in charge. There's just a lot of optimism every time we play. I mean, I think really the last time everybody's been excited going into the business end of the season probably hasn't really been since Clement when he took over, when we were back in the title race. But there's just a lot of optimism around the ground. Even when we don't play well, we still win. Really, there's been a couple of games where we've not played well and we've still won, and I think that's a good sign.
Yeah. I'll start with you then. So one of the things I suppose is that we'll talk a lot about the new players, right? And they've been great, but it's also about the players that you can see a spring in their step. Whether that be Ant-Man coming on yesterday, or whether it be guys developing like Giga, Diamandi's playing his best form. And a whole host of them. So, confidence is such a huge part in football. And as each win, you've kind of started to see a little bit more of that confidence development, Cam.
Yeah, well, when you win games of football, it breeds confidence, doesn't it? And it probably helps as well when you've got a manager who doesn't throw you under the bus. I mean, we had that very early on with Russell Martin. He was never scared to throw his players under the bus, say that they had anxiety, say that they weren't doing what he asked them to do. But he's a man that clearly the players trust, who gives very simple, basic instructions and the players believe in. So I think it's quite natural that you're seeing players like Chimiti starting to come to the fold, because I think with Chimiti, I stand by, he's not going to get you 20 goals a season, but you can see that he does have an effect on the team. Ant-Man, I'd be buzzing if he can kick on, because I really do think there's a player there. But like you say, you're starting to see with a lot of players that if you keep faith with certain players, they'll grow in confidence and they'll develop. Look, Fernandez is your prime example of that.
Yeah. And well, Ricky, I mean, as I say, we'll talk about some of the key players over yesterday's game, and that probably leads into some of this sort of stuff. As you say, the new players all started for the first time. So Scott Olsen, who's played a few games and been hammered already at different points for getting up with fitness. Robbins, who's the new Arthur Newman, and Lee Wallace and David Robertson, and all that rolled into one, I think. And then you had Chukwani and Nadiri. So we'll pick them, start them first. You just talk us through your I suppose your thoughts. Name actually seeing them properly. That's the first time you played any length of time.
Absolutely buzzing, mate. Absolutely buzzing, especially Romans, because what a player he is. Honestly, yeah, and I don't care about getting carried away. Whoever's telling me to stop getting carried away, I want to say a big, massive 2 swear words, but I know that you've got relations that watch the pod, so I'm not going to. But nah, Romans is sensational, mate. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You guys were at the game, but see, when I was watching him, as soon as Rangers, I don't know if it was a tactic for Danny Rowe right away, but as soon as Rangers get the ball, he goes right into inverted fullback, like straight away. He's right into midfield, and he's super comfortable taking the ball in midfield, and he just gives the team energy. Like the energy he gives the team right away is just incredible. And I know people go, Magoma's been all right. He's been steady, and if Magoma is smart, then he will watch Romans for the remaining part of the season, because he's not going to be at Rangers next season. But he will watch his movement and the way that he's like a buzz bomb on the pitch. And honestly, he is going to add so much to this team. The only thing we'll have to see with him is, can he defend? Is he going to be a good defender? Because, well, obviously he's been unchallenged in the 2 games, and he'll definitely get tested against Motherwell. So that's going to be the thing that's going to be interesting. But his energy and what he gives the team is absolutely outstanding. Forget about Lee Wallace and all that pish. He's miles above them. He is like Newman so far. 100%. He's way better than that. Jesus, man. They were complete average compared to the way this kid's going to be. And what the last thing I loved about Nadiri as well, is you've seen it at the game, 3 really brilliant runs to the front post. His goals were brilliant, but 3 outstanding runs right to the front post, and he was demanding 3 different players just play it in there, play it in there. So once that relationship starts to come, then again, Shermitty's a good player and he likes to play and everything like that, but Nadiri's taken that level up. What a find he looks where we've got him in the German 3rd division. And then Chokwane might be the best of the lot in midfield. Wins the ball back, buzz bomb, absolutely outstanding. He's a goal threat as well. He actually knows how to shoot. Diamande, he must be pissing himself laughing at his mate Diamande. Have you ever seen anyone shooting as bad as Diamande's in your entire life? But they play well together. It was like, I see a lot of people today speaking about dropping Raskin for Motherwell, and I mean, that's quite interesting, and it might not be, if he's going to play more in the 10, I think he'll play the 3, the team that Kerr put on the group chat today. I think he'll go with the 3. But if he does play more, then it's going to be interesting, because I don't think you drop Chokwane out of that team. I think he's the number 1 midfield pick now, and then it's Raskin or Dale who's going to play beside him, and you can pick and choose between 2. So the levels that they've added to that squad and that team straight away, Gary, is absolutely outstanding. And it shows with good footballers, we make 100 excuses for them. Oh, they take time to settle, and they need this, and they need their furniture built, and they need to find out where Starbucks is. But good players, actual good players, when you put them in the team, you just see it right away. Olsen's a slow burner. I thought he was okay yesterday. You can tell he's totally rusty and he's getting up to fitness. The other 3 have been playing a lot more football, and you can see that. But once we get them all purring, and then to build the team around day 4 is going to be outstanding, Gary. So as you can tell, I'm not getting carried away.
That's what I pause for, Ricky. It's to enjoy it. It's actually been enjoying the good results. Scott, I suppose we were at the game, so again, is right. I agree wholeheartedly with Ricky. Romans was excellent again. Joey's movement, his power, he's up and down that wing, and I think what he does by coming inside so much or going outside, he did both. It's not just one or the other. He's not quite, I suppose, similar in what he does. So either way, it creates space. So you could see that when that man get the ball, he had a bit of space because Romans was inside, or else he'd pull it right wide and actually create a bigger pitch. So he's really been the probably of the 4 that's impressed in his 90 minutes he's played so far. Chokwane got 2 goals yesterday. Second goal's a cracker. That's really good football. Tello Asgard, lovely touch. Ricky, I know you're not a fan of Asgard, but nice touch between the 2 of them. And he again impressed. Scott Wilson was relatively quiet. Still nice touches. You can see he's an elite player in the area for his first game. 2 cracking headers. His movement was really good. He was trying to get into the box. I think what I liked about him, and you might not have seen the telly, but as soon as he passed the ball, he just ran straight for the box. And none of this hanging about, just straight in the box, get moving. So, Scott, looking at the 4 of them yesterday, you impressed with them and what they can bring for the next 3 months?
Yeah, really impressed, Gary. Like I said, they've come in, they've all started relatively well, the four of them, I have to say, and I don't think you can pick one who's been better than others. If you were going at a push, I'd probably say with Chukwani. I think he's been really, really good. I think the amount of second balls he wins and just his strength middle of the park, and he can pass a ball, and you see him yesterday scoring goals, but he's box to box, isn't he? He just isn't there. He's a big physical lad. He must be. Now midfielder looking up to that because the boy can move. It's not like he's slow either, and it must be difficult to go up against him, especially 1-on-1 and stuff. So I think, Ricky mentioned there, like Raskin comes back into the team for me. I think that's the reason he was probably not included yesterday. So it's going to be between the two of them for Wednesday if he plays a 10, but I would play the three of them. I think the three of them would be really good against Motherwell. But the squad's that good now, Gary. We've got, you said yourself, so did Ricky, and you look at the bench, and there's a lot of players that come on and change stuff, which has happened in previous games. So even the starting 11, whoever it is, there's players that will come on and might make a difference or might score the winner or create a winner or something like that. It just, there's more than 11 players now, but it's good to see you eventually get a squad of players that you can look and say, we could do something in this match, or we can do something, because before you were thinking, we've only got 11 here. Who's that? Who are we going to bring off the bench to make a difference? But we've let out, we've got a lot of players in the January window there. We brought in guys, but when you look at the bench as well, there's still quality and there's still guys that wasn't included yesterday because they're still injured. So it's looking good. It's looking very, very good. And I think Daniel made the best comment of the day yesterday when Emma says to him, you've achieved so much, and he just said, you've not achieved nothing. He's spot on.
Aye. I mean, he does. We've said this, that cliche. He does talk well, and he does keep the feet in the ground and say it's one game at a time. We hunt, we put chase, we do all this sort of stuff that goes with it. So I don't think there's any. Although to be fair, he did say yesterday as well, win the two games we go top of the league. So he is kind of giving a little bit of both.
I don't think that's arrogance. I don't think that's. I think he's just putting out there to the players to say, this is the carrot for you.
Mm.
Do you know that way? He's not saying it as in we'll do it. He never said we will. He said if we win the two games. So he's given that thing to his players to say, do what I've just said, and we can take it another level. And then the pack's chasing you. So it's there for us, but it's there for us in a way where none of us expected it. Do you know that way? Especially after the start we made.
See, Cam, just go back to Danny Rowe, right? So, or more the squad as much anything. So the squad building over the last couple of months, and it's been clear that he's been buying physical players, big 6 foot plus physical players. The players that play with Njiga, all the other ones. There's a style that he likes to play. It's about getting a solid unit, and there's a reason why we've scored so many set pieces. One, the quality from the set piece coach, but also having guys in the box who can actually head the ball now, which has made a difference. Is that something when they come in and you were raving about him coming in? Was that one of the things you kind of thought would be the case? He'd look to build a physical unit.
We've lacked physicality for a long time. We've been bullied off the park too many times. That was why, particularly, we always struggled against teams like your Kilmarnocks and your Dundees against a low block, because we just used to get bullied physically. And I think that was part of the reason we never scored set pieces. We used to concede a lot of set pieces. So, yeah, I do think that's probably what he looked at straight away. I thought we just like that physicality, that power, that strength, especially in the forward line. In the forward line, we've been weak for way, way too long. And you look at Nadiri, the boy's a powerhouse. His movement's unbelievable. He's like a bull. He'll just charge at people. So I do think there's quite a lot to see. And even with Chimiti, I think he's another one with the physicality. I know he was brought in before Roll, but I definitely think the physicality has been a massive weakness that we've had for far too long, and it was something which we've been screaming for at least 2 years, and it was quite plain to see for everybody. And Danny Roll's he's an expert operator. You know, about how he talks, but don't forget this guy's operated at Bayern Munich as an assistant manager under Hansi Flick. He's kind of operated under an elite coach with an elite mindset who's won trophies. This guy knows what to do. Obviously, he lacks the experience in being a manager himself. I understand that, but when you work under someone like Hansi Flick, and also you're working at someone at Bayern Munich, where success is a given, you have to be successful. It's obviously rubbing off on him. But I mean, there's no doubt. Even when he brought in Barry Fry, the set piece coach, I mean, none of us had ever heard of him. We've heard of him now. Every time we get a corner, it's like getting a penalty. It's amazing to see.
I think that probably moves us nicely on to the goal. So in the first half we were 5-0 up. I'm not going to cover each goal individually, but we had scored from a set piece with Nadiri. So really interesting the way Nadiri, just maybe pick up some of the stuff that we have up. The way Nadiri went way to the back post and made a run as soon as the ball, very deliberate. We then get the second goal from Tav, which again, ball comes in, good finish. The third goal, try to remember what was that Chukwani's one?
The third goal was corner.
Keeper, the poor keeper. Do you know,
that was Carmen as Barry Fry, the set piece coach. Scott Fry.
Stick it on the keeper. Stick it on the keeper.
See that third goal? I felt so heart sorry for the keeper. Do you know, actually, it was one of the ones I didn't even really celebrate. I just felt sorry for him.
No. He was celebrating enough when he saved Tav's penalty last year. True. Revenge was sweet, mate. He was running about the stadium like he owned it, so gets it right up him.
And if you're watching, son, for there, and then I say we get the penalty, so handball. Tav scores that to make it the hat trick, and then and so at that point, Chukwani's also scored and assist. So I think Tav in that first half had 3 goals and 2 assists. Is that right? If I remember rightly, that was the thing.
Yes,
I've seen the stuff in Rangers review today. I suppose it's probably worth just picking up. 554 games, 290 assists, and 143 goals in that time, Ricky. And I suppose that the man of the match yesterday, you don't score a hat trick and 2 assists if you're no man of the match.
Unbelievable, mate. I mean, his stats are just absolutely ridiculous. And I see people. I put a team up on X today, and a lot of people were coming back, and a lot of people want Sterling to start. But I would start Tav against both these matches because Sterling's made of glass. I get the argument for we're acting like we're playing Real Madrid. We spoke about it already. They've got massive Nisi Jr. on the wing and stuff like that, but he'll be playing the opposite side. For me, we need Tav's dead balls for the corners and stuff like that. It's what he gives you going forward. We need his set pieces, mate. His set pieces were absolutely brilliant at the weekend. So why are you taking that out of the team with Sterling? We've got enough cover at the back for me with the midfield you're going to play with stuff like that. I get the argument for Sterling, and before, like I would probably have been saying Sterling, keep the defence more solid. But Tav's been outstanding domestically. He's still an absolute nightmare in Europe. He's honking in Europe, but in domestically he's fine, and he still gives you so much going forward. He's a goal threat, and I thought we missed him against Hibs, and I think the team misses his drive, and I think we need him for this title running, mate. We've got 1 game a week coming up. Sterling can come back in. So for me, he starts against Motherwell. And that's a total change. That's me done a 180, but what you're allowed to do for Tav. But for sure, I think we need him for these games, his experience and stuff like that. So for me, I hope he does start against Motherwell. An outstanding, mate. And it's another discussion at the end of the season. We'll probably have another pod when it's a bit quieter and stuff like that. But again, where you're losing Orange, Sterling's injured all the time. It's not on the same money or anything like that, but it's an interesting debate for the end of the season because, again, I can see both sides of the argument. I can see, well, you could find the Romans on the right-hand side where you see the energy he's bringing to the team. Can you find a player like that for the right-hand side and then completely move on in a clean break with him holding the title up at the end of the season? So I see, but any time we've tried to replace him, it's not worked out. So it's a good debate, Gary, and it's interesting both sides to see what people are speaking about.
Scott, I'll stick with that. I'm interested because obviously there's been lots of change of opinion or slight change of opinion. You see it on social media. There's a lot of things, all these images of him scoring goals. As we know, we're coming to the end of his career with Rangers. That's clear. But I suppose also when there's been a lot of talk before about Sterling playing because we need to have this more solid defensively. And I suppose the more I think about that, is that a bit of a fear that we've had over the season because we've been quite fearful as a team. And now we're actually starting to buzz. We maybe don't need that defensive solidity as much. I don't mean that. You know what I'm trying to say? I think we've been quite a scared club and think bring Sterling and keeps us for losing goals as opposed to actually going out and beating teams.
It could be, Gary, but I just think overall Sterling's a better defender. I think if you want somebody at the back who's going to be strong, going to be defensively strong and not going to concede much, then Sterling's a man. But he doesn't know how offensively. He doesn't get forward. He doesn't create chances. He doesn't put a ball in the box. He just does his job defensively. So if you're going to be in the back foot, you bring him in, certainly. And if it was a couple of weeks ago, you probably would have started him. But the problem is, like you say, you're missing creativity, and Tab brings that. Don't get me wrong, I still want to give him a contract in the summer. I'm still sticking with that. I think he's done his bit and he's going to leave a legend, but I don't think you can give him a contract. I think even if the club did, he's going to be playing minimal games next season because we all know he can't play week in, week out. So it's depending what way Danny Rowe wants to go. I mean, he could start Sterling, and if it's no going well, you bring Tav on. Do you know that way? But if you're looking for chances, creation-wise and stuff like that, then you have to play Tav in here. But you do know if Motherwell do use the wings, well, everybody can get by Tav. I can get by Tav, and I'm 53. So defensively, do you know that way? So it's a big call the manager's going to have to make. I know somebody said in the comments, who would you play? The right back, and I said earlier, either of them. I would probably go with this moment in time. But if I want to look for goals, it would be Tav. But if you want to be solid, more solid at the back, you go with Sterling. But the only thing for me is, I think this summer, you do need to look for right back because Sterling's your option going forward because he doesn't play enough football. He misses more games than he plays, and that's a big, big issue.
Yeah. I think for all of us, I'd say the sensible thing is that Tav goes with a league title at the end of the season. Do you know, as a legend, that's the sensible thing. Do you know, nobody disagrees with that. I think that the question mark is whether there's one thing actually yesterday we wouldn't see. So at the game, and then Danny Rose talking after the game, I think he goes up to Miofsky and tells him where to go for a corner. Then goes over to Scott Olsen and tells him where to put it. And you see, and then he plays the front post. I think Miofsky has a header and the keeper's right of the keeper. And it was something that they'd said with Officer Barron a few weeks ago. I think there's a lot of influence within that kind of set piece delivery as to what they're doing. So I think there's, from an offensive point of view, even I've seen somebody there saying Ant-Man and Scott Olsen should create. But if you actually look at the ball needs to get to them. And the problem is Sterling's not got the ability to necessarily pass the ball very well to them. Whereas Tav has, that's the challenge in it. It's all right saying we do this. So I think if we can't have one of our most creative players still playing domestic games in Scotland for the next 13 games, and we need to bring a defender that can defend and do much else, that still slightly worries me, if I'm being honest about our confidence in the team. But that's a different debate. Despite the fact he's 34-year-old and needs to be rotated then again, so there's a little bit of both in there. But I think tremendous record. I think he'll go out with 150 career goals now, 143, and more assists and more goals than any other winger that's played for Rangers in the last 30-40 years. And never mind right back. So by half time we're 5-0 up. We've seen Cameron Nadiri scored one, Chakwane scored one, and Tav's got a hat trick. Second half, Nadiri scores another header, really good movement, good goal from Ant-Man. And I'll be honest, second half is pretty dull in the sense that you're always going to get a relatively dull second half on the basis you're breaking subs and the game's done. Still scores some good goals, and good to see Miofsky get a header as well. And then the final goal for Chakwane. So lots of subs, still continue to get chances, but a slower pace, obviously, as you would expect.
Well, Queen's Park just shut up shop, didn't they? It was just damage limitation, just sat in front of us. So yeah, it was a pretty dull second half, but it was a very professional job, to be honest. Got live, carried on going. So yeah, I thought it was good, his use of subs, to be honest. It gave everybody a turn. He creative players, allowed to get them in on the action. I thought Ant-Man did well. I thought he did really well when he came on. I thought Bayrami did well. But yeah, I thought he used his subs really well, to be honest. Gives players some minutes, especially players coming back from injury. Gives them a chance of getting on the action. It's just nice going into this really important run of games, and the confidence seems to be high within the group.
I'll start with you then. So the confidence being high. So there is a lot of talk about new signings, as if that's the thing that's going to make the difference for us, and it will add value. But I think for me, watching Giga looks like a decent player again. You know, he had that horrible spell. You look at the middle of the park, Diomandi's probably playing his best football he might even have played for us over his time the last couple of months. And then you've got, I suppose you've got others like Miofsky's getting the odd goal here and there. Ant-Man, you said's coming in. So you're starting to see a lot of the other players actually starting to grow as well and do more. And it's not all going to be about the four that's there. So Mikey Miller's, Magoma, a whole host of the ones you could add to that list. You're starting to see players' confidence growing and developing, and actually maybe will add value. The ones a couple of months ago we'd said were diddies, basically.
Well, I think that comes with comfortability within the system. I mean, remember Russell Martin's incredibly high line that just left us exposed every game. And the two centre halves must have just been so completely uncomfortable. Because a lot of the time when they had the ball at their feet, it was them that were kind of having to start everything off. So I think with regards to Giga, he just looks a lot more comfortable. To be honest, in his role, he looks a lot more comfortable playing with Fernandes. He just looks very familiar with the players that he's playing with. And I think that only comes just by playing regularly, like we say, winning games. It breeds confidence. So I think it has a lot to do with the fact that he's kind of played, majority of the time, played the same players, played them in the same system consistently, in the same role. And they just become familiar with it. They've grown in confidence. And when you start doing well in it and you start winning games, naturally you just become a lot more of a confident player. And that you can see that in Giga. I agree. I remember when I saw him in the European qualifiers, I thought he looked really talented. And then over the next couple of weeks, when we continue to play that stupid high line that we conceded from every game, he just looked like a boy who just wanted to go home. Just wanted to go back to his parent club and just go back and play on the 23s. But I think he's developed into a very strong centre half so far.
So Ricky, I suppose the squad, right? So we were talking with a brief chat earlier on today. The squad is so. If look at yesterday's game. So Butland wasn't playing, Suter wasn't playing. You had Mikey Moore, Raskin, Kisama, Chamite, Fernandes. I'm trying to think. There's probably a lot more that I forgot about there that all weren't playing, and most of them didn't even come on. The depth of squad now looks as though I think it's probably there's maybe 2 players for every position, and there might even 2 decent players, which we wouldn't have thought a few months ago.
It's not, and they're all fit, Gary. You remember doing this pod a year ago and Celtic were 14 points clear and we had 10 players out, and that was the norm every weekend. We were speaking about it. How can all these players be on the treatment table? And it just shows you half of them were at it, And there's no doubt about it. I mean, Matondo suddenly the window closes and then he's back playing football again. It's the biggest joke in the history of. The guy hides in one of the kit man's boxes for the whole of the transfer window, a calf strain or whatever. And then so now we have, and Roll spoke really well after the match about training, about the 11 playing against the 11, the players that are not playing against the starting team. I don't know if that's on a Friday or a couple of days before the match. And he says you used to be able to see a real drop in quality. And it was like very, very evident to him, especially when he had his traffic light system at the side of the pitch and the greens were playing the reds and the ambers were in mixing up. But now it's all greens that we've got, and it's great, Gary. You can feel it as well. It's like we spoke about on Friday. If we win against Motherwell, right, then that connection that we were speaking about is going to be there with these players in that team, because these new players have added that quality. Let's be honest, right? For the last eight games, like we were at the Motherwell game, the games at Ibrox, it's been turgid as hell, Gary. And it's what you at the end of the match, you're like, how the hell did we win that game? So, but now you can see that he's added that extra quality in January, just like the Sheffield Wednesday fans said he would. He's managed to get results with Russell Martin's squad, which was a miracle. Now he's added his quality to the squad, and you see the level going up. And if we can start playing that sort of football with the Romans and your new players in the team, and Dio, you add Fernandes, Butland, Suter, Taverniers doing the business on the right. You've got Shermiti dovetailing when Nadiri's a great presser as well. So he leads from the front. His pressing is outstanding. He's like never stops. I actually think his pressing's better than Shermiti's. So you've got all that going on, then that connection. The Hearts game, the atmosphere will be absolutely electric and the players will deserve it, and it'll be good for them to get that. And then you've got 2 Old Firm games coming up, which are going to be incredible in March, mate. And these players deserve that. If they keep winning and we are right in that title race and we're able to go to the top of the league, even if it's nip and tuck with Celtic, and we play them at Ibrox, and then we can go 6 points clear unless they've played that game against Aberdeen. Because we need a bit of a gap, I think, going into that. I've always said it going into the split. We don't need to be even in points going into the split, but even to be near the top, mate. So if we can do that and get that connection going with these players, then we're in for a special end to the season. And even if it goes completely tits up, Gary, which I don't think it will, then we've got a special manager. He's building something. The hardest thing is going to be to keep this guy, because there's so many. We've got the Sharks down in England and they'll know the job that he's doing at Rangers, but he's building something. So even if it's not this season, it's not going to be Rowe's fault. It's going to be the start and how far behind he came from. But I'm confident with the forum that we can win the title, and it's going to be a brilliant end to the season. It's exciting again, and the more and more and more it's been building and building, Gary, and if we can get this week and it goes the way that we want it, then that excitement is only going to keep going up levels and levels and levels, and it's brilliant, mate.
Just pass comment up, Ricky, before I go Scott. There's William. We'll see how good the new guys are against better opposition. I'm sure. I just thought that would be interesting.
No, but it's like people are saying that today. There's so many people's got PTSD. The usual moaners are still at it on X, going like, they still find something to be negative about. You're like, guys, for fuck's sake, go and watch fishing or something, man. Give up Rangers. Stop doing Abdi's boxing. If you cannot be happy when your team's playing like this, beating teams 8-0, and you still, it's only Queen's Park, find the negative, then honestly, go and watch it. Go and watch the darts. Go and watch any other sport, because Rangers is not for you.
Scott, so that takes us into the semi-final, quarter-final, the Scottish Cup, and then the draw was made last night. I don't know, it was too late, 10 o'clock at night. I've never been watching Stennis when we were against Falkirk, or whatever it was. And you put a message on that they drew Celtic, well, something about Celtic. I had no idea what you were on about, so I remember it was a draw. So we have drawn Celtic at home in the Scottish Cup, and the 8th of March, so then playing in the league, and then again the following week. So happy with the draw, excited with the draw, more worried that our tickets are going to get taken away from us in the Broomland Road stand.
I'm actually just concentrating on Motherwell at this moment in time, Gary.
Well, we're moving forward now. We'll get back to Motherwell in a minute.
Oh, but I said to you yesterday, at half time, I said I went Celtic in the next round at Ibrox, and that's what happened. So, listen, it's a good draw. Any home draw is good. Doesn't matter who you're facing, as long as you're at home, it's a good draw. I mean, we're going to have to beat them probably sometime if you want to win it. So, we've not got a great record at Hampden, so if we can get them at Ibrox, then we've got a really good chance. Last time it comes, we're hoping we're in a good place, but we've got a lot of important games before that. But as for the tickets, Gary, I think it's just going to be one of these things. I think the clubs are talking, the police will have a big say. To be honest with you, I think they might get the full Broomloan, 7,500, just under 8,000. Personally, I would give them European allocation and tell them that's it, because they said they didn't feel safe at Ibrox, didn't they, before? So, but it just depends. What I mean, I've heard it earlier on. I put Clyde one on him when I was in the Wortons, and they were saying, I mean, if the Rangers were coming to Parkhead, they would get more tickets than me get to Ibrox. That's obvious. It's a bigger stadium. Fucking brain dead. Do you know what I mean? But I don't know what they'll get, Gary. I would say I would give them a European allocation, but I think they might get more than that just because that is the rules. But it's only the rules along certain criteria, so it just depends. The police will have a big say because they say they struggle to outside allocations been cut as well. Other stadiums, because the police say it's harder to police more fans, away fans, especially foreign fans. So if they can place 7,500 in other stadium, other teams have to get a say why they only give you like 800, 1,000 and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? When the other seats in the stadium are empty. So I don't really know what they'll give them, but as long as we get our tickets, that's what I'm wishing for, because I don't know. We're a novice in the Broomloan, so I don't have a clue what would happen with that. I know they'll give some to the Broomloan folk in it, but used to be before you get one game, didn't you know, in your season they get to say you're guaranteed Celtic games, but that's just a cup game.
So we're on the continuous credit card in the all cup games, so we'll be all right, Scott. I think we'll be fine.
I'll send it. I don't care.
All the others at 2 months ago were on Twitter saying about getting rid of their CCS. I think they'll be the ones that are trying to get back now. So Celtic is as you say, Scott, it's 4 weeks away. So let's not focus too much. It's exciting. There's no doubt it's exciting playing them 2 weeks.
They'll be happy as well, but they've got a lot of hard games coming up. But when you've got a lot of games, I don't look at that as people are saying that's a harsh shift for them, but when you're a footballer, you want to play in these games. Do you know what I mean? I wish you were still in Europe. I wish you were still chasing different things. So you want to play in these games. It doesn't mean it's going to make it more difficult for them. It just means there'll be less training. They'll just play game by game and there'll be a lot of training. But they're positive for it as well. So I don't look into that side. I think sometimes you have a rest, it can be more detrimental than it is playing games.
I agree. It's irrelevant to me. I mean, we've played lots of games over the years when we've played 120 minutes against Braga, for example, then won a Scottish Cup semi-final after 120 minutes against them. So it'll be about what we do, and if players continue to develop as they have been, I'll be confident that we have a better team than them. Basically, that's nothing to do with anything else other than the fact that I think our team will be better than them at that point. But that's a month away. And Cameron, on Wednesday night, we travel to, I think Ricky calls them Real Motherwell, who are highly regarded across Scottish football things as the best team in the league. Should really be winning it, but for some reason there's 3 teams above them. They have got a tremendous record, but at home, I think they've only lost 1 game at home this season. They've only conceded 5 goals as well, so they have. So what happens is we've obviously got a team that's got the best defensive record and a good home record against, as Ricky tells me, as every away game, a Rangers side who's probably got the best away record we've had in decades.
Yeah, I don't know the stats on that, but yeah, I probably think we probably have got one of the best away records. For whatever reason, the players prefer that rather than playing at Ibrox. Maybe it's at Cauldron, I don't know. Well, Wednesday be a tough game, be a hard game. They do play good football. They are a difficult team to beat. They are quite solid defensively, but they're 2 places below us for a reason. You know, we should be going there, get the 3 points, get ready for Sunday against Hearts. I think the confidence that we've had from the past 2 games, we've scored 13 goals in 2 games. As an attacking lineup, you should be taking that confidence in with you, thinking we can knock 2 or 3 in against Motherwell. Our away form's pretty decent, so I do fancy us to go there and get a result. To be honest, I think if we can go in with the same intensity we've got in with the last 2 games, the most important thing is get a goal early on. The longer that game goes on, the bigger the nerves get, and that crowd will be up for it, Motherwell. So I think the most important thing is to start fast, get a goal early on, and build on that. And if you get a goal early on, who knows, you can come away with a 3-0 win or even a 3-1. We've seen it happen so many times, or even under Danny Rowe. You get 1 goal, all of a sudden they start to open up a little bit more. So I'd be interested to see what lineup he goes with. Will he start Skov-Olsen, or will he stick with just Moore and Gassama on the wings? With Ant-Man, maybe? I don't know.
So, Ricky, I'm going to come at you that, because obviously the players won 8-0 yesterday, so people have been raving about Ant-Man, Skov-Olsen, Romans as your new hero. So there's all these guys that have come in. Is there a case to be made for people that have been over the course and played against Motherwell, or do you actually go with these new signings who are going to a wet, windy Fir Park for the first time?
Mate, the 4 new signings are tattooed on the team sheet, mate, and then you build a team around them. Then you add your Fernandez, you add your Suter, you add your Butwind, you add your Tavernier, Romans, Chukwani's there. You ever pick Dio or Raskin? I agree with Kerr. I would like to start the match with both of them, and then I would play Moore on the left, Nadiri up front, and then Olsen on the right would be my starting lineup. But I can see people saying Moore in the 10 and then Ant-Man on the left. I wouldn't be against that, but definitely not Asgard. Gassama's too. I wouldn't be starting Gassama. He gets lost in these games, man. You're just getting Romans' way, man. You know, he's.
Do you not think with Romans, but it may actually be good for him because the way Romans plays?
I think with Gassama, he's a good option from the bench. He's a strong player from the bench. He's a great player. If you're bringing on later on into the match, you're bringing on Gassama, you're bringing on Ant-Man, then maybe move Moore into the middle later on. You've got the options from the bench. I think that's good options to bring. We've got strong players. Shermiti can come in, and then Nadiri's not going to probably last the 90 minutes. It's going to be, it's going to be tough for the new players because it is going to be Scottish football. They've probably started the first couple of games against Kilmarnock, 10 men, and against Queen's Park, and they're thinking, oh, this is easy. This is brilliant. Scottish football's easy. And it is going to be a shock for everyone because the pace is going to be 100 miles an hour. But I think it suits Rangers, especially in Nadiri, the way that he presses. I think it suits us the way that Motherwell plays because like the problem we've had in our team is our front 4 with Gassama, Asgard, Miovski, and Olsen. They're like 4 statues, man. There's hardly any movement there. You change that for Moore on the left. You've got the flat free midfield, and then you've got Olsen on the right, and the Deary up front, that automatically gives you energy with Roman's from left back. That gives you energy in your front four straight away. You can play Raskin further forward. Barry Ferguson through the week was raving about Raskin. I saw him on a podcast, and he was like, I cannot believe Rangers do not do what I did and use Raskin further forward. And then he's got that security back. So that's another great option in Chuck Wane and Dio behind. And then they ducktail really well because Chuck Wane gets forward as well. And I think the way that Motherwell plays could suit us because they're easy to press. If you press them high and get the ball back from them, then they do give you opportunities to score. But they are good going forward, don't get me wrong, but they're no Real Madrid. They will get the players on paper. We Rangers should still be going there and winning. But what I will say, Motherwell, I found out today, they've not conceded a goal at home since October. They've won all these games and one draw against Hearts. And every game they've won 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, 2-0 at Fir Park. So they are having an incredible season. But listen, if you want to win a title, I remember the good old days when we had to go to Pittodrie and Andy Gorham was a one-man show and he would just save, like playing like Superman. These are the grounds, the teams that are near the top that you need to go to and win if you want to win this title. Look at the week you've got. If we can't go and beat Motherwell and then take care of Hearts on Sunday, then we don't deserve to win this title, Gary. I think we are going to do it and I'm confident we're going to do it. But honestly, mate, he has to pick the right team role. He's got good options in the squad. He cannot pick Asgard. If he picks Asgard, everything or the pod will be deflated. Everyone will be deflated. It'll be, see, Cam was sneezing. Even when as soon as I mentioned Asgard, I gave Cam hay fever there, man. So that's what that guy does to people. So he cannot be near that lineup on Wednesday night. Keep him on the bench. I don't mind him coming on with 5 minutes to go, and that's the lineup I'd go with.
Well, Cameron's getting itself together. I'll go with Scott. So when based on Ricky's team, which was about 15 players, I think we should win no bother. But there's when you watch a lot of Scottish football, Scott, Motherwell have played really well. They've only conceded 5 goals at home. They do but 2-0. Ricky says 2-0 wins a lot of time. Good side, but more importantly, if you want to win a league title, you need to go to Fir Park and win. Whether it be 1-0, 2-1, or 3-4-5, you need to get these results. Those 3 points are the ones that win you titles, not necessarily the big games at Ibrox all the time.
No, you have to go everywhere, one, Gary. That's how I was probably so downbeat after the Habs game, but it'll be really difficult. Motherwell do press you as well, I have to say. They're really good at that, and they press and patch, don't press individuals, but he's got them playing really well, this chap. He's got to remember when Rule came in, they were just sitting where we are in the league. They weren't playing well, but he managed to turn it about because the system he was implementing, it took him time to get it, but as soon as they got it, they've not conceded many goals. They've on a really a long run and they're very, very difficult to beat. And it's just the same players that kind of we had when Danny Rule came in, as in, he's not changed much, and we've not changed much apart from the January window there. So he's done really, really well. I think it's going to be really difficult myself. I think it'll be maybe a bit of magic to win your game or maybe a mistake, but I think there's not going to be much in the game. I think both teams, when they came to Ibrox, we were lucky to win that day. I thought they played really well at Ibrox and we got it over the line, and then we played there at the start of the season under the previous manager. I don't want to mention him again because Robert wasn't happy, but mentioned him 3 times, which I couldn't agree with. But it's going to be difficult, but we have to go there and win, Gary, you're right, and I think we have to be confident, but we also have to give them a wee bit of respect. We can't keep saying it's all Motherwell. Teams do change, do you know what I mean? You have to give them respect for what they've done this season. They've been absolutely superb.
I don't think they've been criticised saying it's only Motherwell. I think, to be fair, what we're saying is Rangers have better players and arguably a better manager as well, so you should be going to win those games. It's not. The
players have to show it, and I think if we do show it, we will, but also I do agree with Ricky. Asgard can't start for me. Don't get me wrong, Hello's a technically good footballer, but he hides.
What are your thoughts then, Scott? So there's been a lot of talk the last couple of days because the Kilmarnock game for the last half hour, and then yesterday played two up front. So there's this suggestion, obviously, was it Leipzig way? I can't remember. Was it this 4-2-2-2? Do you think that is the formation, or as Ricky says, it's probably going to be more likely to be the 4-3-3?
See, if he goes with that, it wouldn't bother me. I think Miovski plays better in it myself. I think Miovski plays better off somebody than he does up front himself. And I was so happy yesterday he scored because I thought he was doing okay and he scored a great header. But I think playing with somebody like Deria, he's going to create stuff, Miovski, but he's going to score more as well. But so the 4-4-2 would work. I mean, but it just depends where he wants to go. And if that was implementing in training now, the players might be suited to that as well. It might help, like you say, people come inside, but also helps Romans get up the wing and whoever else is on the right hand side. But personally, I don't know how he'll go. I mean, he's going to pick a team he thinks is the best teams to win. But the 4-4-2 is fine with me if he puts the players in who I think. But the only thing is, I don't think he'll play a flat three midfielders, and that's where I would go just for more security and anything else.
So you tell us, the audience now, what he should be doing then. What would your team be?
I don't get paid the bucks to tell me to do. But the way I would go is I would play the 4 at the back. It's a tough one at right back because Tav gives you so much going forward, but I can see the option of playing Sterling because he's more defensively switched on. So I'd probably start with Sterling. But on the goals, obviously it's going to be Suter and Fernandez if he's fit. If he's not in Giga. But in left back, you go with Romans because he's come in and done really well. Middle of the part, I'll just go Chukwani, Raskin and Deal. And then I would stick Moore, Olsen and Nadiri. But if he wants to change it to 4-2-2, then that's fine because it has worked. But I don't know if he will for Motherwell away. I think he maybe keep that for maybe other games. It's going to be difficult, Gary, because Motherwell, they play quick as well. It's not a lot of slow passing they play. He'll have watched them, he'll have told the players about them, so it's up to us to turn up and create chances. And I think the thing about Chukwani for me, if he plays and you've got Fernandez there and you've got Nadiri up top, that's a lot of height. Do you know what I mean? At set pieces, we've been good at set pieces, and that's why you say to yourself, if we're doing set pieces, yeah, we've got Olsen who can swing the ball in, you've got maybe Romans that can swing the ball in, but you can't take away with Tav delivery, and that's the problem when he's not on the team for like corners and set pieces because he can put a ball on somebody's head. You've seen it with Miovski's goal at weekend. As soon as I hit that, Miovski knew it was coming to his napper and he just put it into the net. And it's difficult. It'll be hard, but whoever he picks, we'll have to go with it and we'll have to just think it's going to win the match for us. But like I said, the subs all make a big impact. I feel the subs can come on and make a big impact.
So Cameron, now's your chance. So you're more of a tactical genius now. So I think of the two teams they've talked about there, you've got potentially Tav, Aarons, Giga, Magoma, Gassama, I'm trying to think who else, Bayrami, Asgard, and to name a few that are not even going into the starting lineup. So would you have any changes? What would you be looking at?
Well, first thing I want to dispel is the 4-2-2-2-2-2. It's a fucking 4-4-2, pardon my friends. It does my head in.
No, you need to follow what Rangers are doing. These things say 4-2-2.
It's a 4-4-2, man. I hate it when people say 4-1-4-1. It's like, it's a 4-5-1. God's sakes.
Try to get into the football manager side it. Come on.
I know.
Yeah, but even then, it's 4-4-2. It's the same thing.
Rangers Review's got Joshua Barry and we've got wee Stuart McCall lookalikes at the
Mate, it's 4-4-2.
Right, would you play 4-4-2 then, Cam?
No, I wouldn't, mate. I wouldn't. I'd play 4-3-3. I'd play with a 6 and 2 8s. I don't want to see us play with a 10 again for the rest of the season because I think it's the most redundant position in world football nowadays. I think it's going extinct, the number 10 position. To be honest, I just think we've played Asgard there a few times and he just looks isolated and he looks lost, especially when you play against teams in a low block. It's just so easy to defend. So I'd play a 4-3-3 with a 6 and 2 8s. I'd have Tuchwani. And I've Raskin and Deals, your 2 8s. Your back 4. I put Aarons right back.
I forgot about him.
Yeah, well, I seem to be his cheerleader, to be honest. I pick him in most of my teams. I'd put Aarons at right back, Romans at left back, Suter and Fernandez if Fernandez is fit. Obviously, Bullard and goal. I don't know why I've done it in this order. And then your front three.
Magoma at left back. Romans at Magoma at left back. Sorry.
Romans.
Romans, right?
Yeah, Romans. I just think he gives us something different going forward, which I don't think Motherwell will be able to predict. To be honest, I think you need to use that. Your front three, up front, I'd have Nadiri. On the left, I'd probably stick Gassama there, and on the right, I'd have Scott Olsen or Mikey Moore.
That's so Gassama and Aaron's in. That's a risky team. Some would say for there. Ricky was saying more than anything. But again, I suppose the point of that still is that there is a lot of options. So if you look at the options that are there, Ant-Man, we were talking about raving about him at the weekend. Mikey Moore, you didn't have him in the team. He's outstanding. Probably one of the best individual performances last week against Kilmarnock. Chermiti, our £8 million, £10 million striker, who's actually playing really well. Mioski scored. So lots and lots of options that you could bring on. I think Ricky subs will probably be all important. If you're going to look at the game, actually, Motherwell may be doing well, but where the strength and depth that we should have to bring on the park might be the thing that actually turns the game.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. And I wouldn't be doing. I like this discussion, the 4-4-2 discussion, but I wouldn't be doing that at Fir Park against Motherwell. But I would against Hearts. I think at Ibrox, especially if you beat Motherwell, I think McInnes loves a 4-4-2. So I think you could really go for the juggler for against Hearts and really go after them with a 4-4-2. And that could be Chermiti and Nadiri up front. Try that together. I think for the weekend that would be an excellent option. But I think for Fir Park, you've got to keep us a little bit stable because you don't want to, if they start pinging the ball around you and they get an early goal. And I mean, the Blue Celtic away, they absolutely hammered Celtic. It was a 2-0 going on a 3 or 4. And so they have done it against the better teams in the league. And obviously Hearts struggled there as well. So it is going to be a tough game. And I totally agree. The players coming off the bench, if you don't start with Gassama, I think Gassama actually looks a lot better when you bring him off the bench. And especially now, he's a huffy bug. If you notice him when you sub him off, he thinks he's a Real Madrid player when you sub him off. He's the huffiest little beeps because obviously he's French. But so I think he's a great option. And the players that you can have Miovski, Chermiti. You've got the option to go 4-4-2 later on in the game. You can bring on Asgard into the centre of the park, or if you do play Moore in the 10 and you don't start with Raskin or Dale, then they're a good option to bring into the team as well. So the options are just all over. It's great to have these options as well. This is the first time in ages that you're actually excited. I mean, years, to be honest. Even when Clement came in, Gary, all the injuries were there and there was always 5 or 6 players out. We're almost the only player really out now, I think, is Connor Barron. And so I think the whole rest of the squad now is completely fit, the Cornelius as well. They're the only 2 players out. So having that strength, and it's going to be tough for them to even pick the bench against Motherwell. So it's going to be interesting. But you do need that. I think nowadays people get excited with who your best players are in your 11. Whereas football's been a squad game now for about 10 years, mate. It's not just the 11 that starts. And Rowe always mentions that as well. We need you for the second half. I think he's good at keeping the players motivated and telling them that, look, you're going to be part of this victory. This is when you're going to come on. Just be ready. And I think that's great man management. And he brings that to the table as well. So the most important thing, Gary, I'd take a 1-0 right now against Motherwell, mate. Just get that 3 points on the board. And then that sets. I think the fans have got, the fans are going to be brilliant at Fir Park. I think it's going to be a good atmosphere. But I think we need to properly get back behind the team on Sunday when we play against Hearts. I think these players in Roll deserve a proper Ibrox atmosphere. He's not had that with any of the matches so far. It's been pish. The European games have been utter pish. The league games have been all right, but it's not been that crackling proper. And these new players will respond to that. They'll be like, what the hell is going on here? So that's what we need to bring to the table as fans on Sunday, mate. And it's an exciting week ahead, that's for sure.
So I think as we come to the pod, we'll look at score predictions. I suppose one of the things to do, if we don't win tomorrow, right, people do need to keep a little bit of calmness because there is going to be lots of twists and turns over the next 13 games. It doesn't need to be thrown out of the bathwater, as they say. So there will, Motherwell are a good side, and if there's a draw, that can happen depending on how it goes. So let's stay calm no matter what the outcome is. But looking at score prediction, well, so I'm saying deliberately for Scott there, that was and I'll come to you for score prediction in the middle. So I won't come first, but Cameron, we'll get yours to start with.
3-1.
3-1 to Rangers, I'm assuming, before we get Scott.
Yeah.
I know of that multitude of players that we now have. Who do you think is going to be the one that stands up?
The Deary.
Deary.
I really do. I think he'll bulldoze. I really do.
And see Fernandez, Fernandez there. Do you know the set pieces is a huge thing, and that's something that we've been really strong. I don't know what Motherwell like in terms of that defensively. Scott, so I'll come to you then. So you are more of a worrier, maybe the less, not pessimist, but more of a worrier about these things. How are you feeling for ahead of Wednesday?
How am I feeling, Gary? I think it'll be a score draw. I don't think we'll win. I think it will be a score draw. I just feel it's going to be a more difficult game than everybody's expecting, and I think Motherwell are really good for them at home. And I think that's what I said. That's how I was somewhat upset about the so disappointed with the Hibs game, because they were there for the beating when you looked at the Hibs side, but Motherwell was a total opposite. So I hope we win, Gary. Don't get me wrong. I'll be sitting here shouting at the telly because I gave my nephew my ticket, but I'm only telling the truth. I don't want to sit here and say 1-5-0 when I don't think that. So I think I'm hoping we win, but I think it'll be a score draw.
And there's a reason why that I left Ricky to the end there after you, Scott, would bring us down a wee bit. Ricky, let's finish the high.
I agree with JD 100%, mate. That was comment of the night for sure, especially if we win. So no, I'm going 3-0. I'll go 3-0, mate. I think Nadiri's a great shout for a goal. Fernandez and Tavernier, I'm going to say. So Scott Fry Oil, 3-0. Great night for Rangers. Not bothered about Hearts or Hibs tomorrow. We'll check the score because I think it's Celtic we need to start worrying about with this title race. And 3-0 for Rangers against Motherwell. On to Hearts on Sunday. Let's go. No, sorry. Let's go hunting. That's the one.
Is that the statement? No, I'm hopefully it's Ricky's right. Hopefully Scott's wrong, and hopefully we are back on Friday. So we are going to be on Thursday. Is that right, Scott? Is this week we're on Thursday? We're going to do, or is it next?
Thursday. Aye.
What about your score, Gary? You need to do your score before you go away, man. Sitting on the fence. Splinters in his arse.
I'll go right. I've said along all night that it's Motherwell. Let's be calm. They're a decent side, but we should be going there and winning. So I'm going to go with a 3-1 win, and I'd expect that Chermiti may score, and certainly a set piece Fernandez. Well, maybe no Fernandez. Raskin with a set piece, and Romans for his first goal. Banging in that left wing.
Like it.
So go with that.
That's 2.0.
No. Better than Papach. Newman. I'll give you Newman and Davy Robertson, but no. Better than Papach. Better than Wee Wallace. Come on now.
Don't flag Sasa.
So we will be back on Thursday night. Unfortunately, Scott's because I'm not on Friday night. So please remember we'll be back on Thursday night. Is that right? Thursday night we'll talk about the Motherwell game and we'll preview the Hearts game coming up, which will be really exciting. I can't wait actually to get the Motherwell game passed in a good way. But start to look forward to going to Ibrox at 4:30 on Sunday for what's probably the biggest game. Well, will be the biggest game of the season so far. And actually the atmosphere should be rocking. So hopefully a good result on Wednesday night takes us into at worst 3 points behind Hearts, knowing that a win against them would put us top. That would be something to look forward to. So thank you everybody for watching. Thank you Cameron for coming back. It's good to have you back on the pod. And thank you Ricky for your positivity. Thank you Scott for turning up. And we will see you all again later in the week. Take care now. Bye everybody.